And we're about 5 miles northwest of downtown Tampa at beautiful Raymond James Stadium near Florida's Gulf Coast. Coming up, it's the final game of Wildcard Weekend, and we've got a good NFC matchup in store between the Washington Redskins and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Winner go home is the mantra, and off we go. We're underway in this NFC wildcard game.
And that drives coaches insane, doesn't it? When they see that happen, it just doesn't feel right, does it? Plus, you're giving up yardage.
The give is to Jones. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. That'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 14. Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. Here's Winston. And a catch right side by him. Big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. A good pickup there, 26 yards. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. A give to Jones. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, if the coaching staff's doing a good job upstairs, they'll file away what they just saw from the defense right there. They sold out to stop that running play. I'd say keep that in mind. They want to try that again, go play action, hit them over the top.
Winston. And break. The tight end's got it. And running with power here. That one goes for 24 yards. Just the first quarter, but tackling going to be so important going forward. They've got to limit plays like that.
And that's something when you see it happen early in the game and they don't get him on the ground, you can always tell that they were concerned about it going in. Because I can just tell you from my days, I remember being in college and worrying all off-season about our season open opponent, and they had a receiver that could shake and bake with the best of them. I tackled him on the first pass of the game, and the relief was incredible. I ended up having a pretty decent ball. If I missed him, it would have been a long night.
And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a 2nd and just about a few inches here. They'll give it to him right up the gut, and he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. A great play there. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Bucs have taken a first-quarter lead. Extra point splits the uprights. And that makes the score 7-0. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Field it at the goal line. And he nearly broke that for more, but as it is, they'll start this drive at about the 37-yard line. A good starting spot for the Redskins as they come up 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Eluding the pressure right. And incomplete to open things up. The former first-round pick, Vernon Hargraves, the one who was there defensively.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up second down.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
Wait.
On play action, they'll throw. Looking deep downfield. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
And Tampa Bay trots out there now. And certainly they'll be hoping to hit pay dirt like they did on the last drive. Got the football back, so a chance to go up 2 scores.
And they haven't been tentative at all in this ball game because sometimes you start a game with your script to try and get information out of the opposing defense. How will they play you in certain situations? Sometimes you script to attack, and that's what I'm seeing so far.
They'll start the drive with a carry by Jones. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. Up at the 29 now, they'll head to the line, 2nd and a yard.
Ready, black 22.
On 2nd down, it's Jones. And this carry not as productive. He's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Not enough there for a first. No gain, as a matter of fact. And it leaves them at 3rd and 1.
Let's go. It's time to play. Come on. Sunday. Green, Triple C. Hey, sub. Let's go.
And now prior to this 3rd and 1, we're going to get a timeout here. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter.
Hey, let's go. Hey, sub. Let's go. Hey, sub. Let's go.
On 3rd and 1, here's Winston. Left side here, that's complete to Godwin. His first catch of this wild card game, and it's good for a first down.
I don't care who you put on him, he's going to be a handful in one-on-one throws.
Yeah, right now you're right. They're in man-to-man. Maybe need some safety help.
I would say that'd be a good idea. Double team him somehow. I'm going to have to make someone else beat me rather than let him shred my defense.
Jones. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
Let's go. It's time to play.
Winston. And this is incomplete.
When you see passes knocked down by those guys I call the frustrated fullbacks, the linebackers, you know that in their zone coverage, they were able to drop, see the ball thrown, and react to it very quickly.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Off the play fake, Winston. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Troy Apke, and they get the football. They'll set up shop at their own 49-yard line.
The good old cover 3 defense, partner. When you start playing football as a safety, that's the first thing you're taught. Middle of the field, be as deep as the deepest receiver in any zone, and break on the football when it's thrown and pick it off, just as we saw there.
They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Going up top. So they took a shot on 1st down but couldn't connect.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. They'll drop the throw. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. They'll look to throw here. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked up by M.J. Stewart. And a big return will get it all the way down to the 35.
And that's a great example of ball skills right there, partner. You and I do a lot of games, and I can't tell you how many guys look to run with the football before they've intercepted it. So that's a nice job of focusing on the task at hand and coming away with the interception.
Following the interception, Winston. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 35. Here's Jones. And he'll work his way inside the 30 now to the 28. 2nd down, a little more productive than 1st. 7 yards on the gain. It gets him to 3rd and 3 now. And they'll go with a ground attack here. And he's going to get the first down as they bring him down at the 23. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
So it's pretty simple, partner. You pick up a turnover, set you up in excellent field position. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out in this spot.
Yeah, they would have had to settle for a field goal attempt, but now they keep those touchdown hopes alive.
Hey, stop. Ready. Blue ready. Hey, 5 on the 50.
On the counter, here's Jones. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down. I'm no offensive mastermind, but of all the guys on the field to block, you might want to stop him.
Look, I'll get a very simple...
Now Jones. And he's going to take this one down to about the 23-yard line. Give him 2 yards that time, and it's going to leave him with a 3rd and 11 situation.
Hey, sub. Let's go. Sonic.
Winston. And he's into the end zone for a Tampa Bay touchdown. O.J. Howard, 23 yards for the touchdown. And the Bucs are going to add on to their lead.
It used to be that if you were a big wide receiver and the coaches wanted to make you a tight end, you resisted the move. Now it's almost a glamour position because they have the mismatch advantage. Are you going to cover them with a linebacker? They're probably faster. A defensive back? They're going to be bigger. Tight end is the new big-time position.
The Redskins offense now, they get set to take over here. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. 2nd and 6, just inside the 30. Back to throw. Escaping the pressure right. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 47. And a huge return as he'll take this one all the way down inside the 30-yard line. Well, and I saw the pressure coming at him. That just looked problematic. Hit him as he threw it, and the interception ensued.
Let me pay homage to the man who stood in this spot before. He always talked about how much pressure is in the face of a guy, and can he step into a throw. And when you can't do that, oftentimes interceptions result.
They'll run it with Jones. And he'll take this down just shy of the 25-yard line. In on the stop, the safety, Troy Apke.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
And they'll go on the ground, down to the 25. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
Back-to-back runs, I'd say that encompassed maximum effort for minimal gain.
Minimal yardage, and now they're going to need something more than minimal on this play coming up. The Bucs on 3rd down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. And on the ground they go with a running back. And down inside the 15 he goes. A pickup of 11, and it moves the chains.
So that's what that elbow in my ribs was all about. You thought they were going to throw the ball as well.
Absolutely. I think everybody thought they were throwing the football, caught him off guard.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when you have the courage to make that type of a play call, a lot of times you actually get rewarded.
They'll try the right side with Jones. And he's into the end zone for a Tampa Bay touchdown. Ronald Jones, 14 yards. And the Buccaneers here finding a way.
And we know they won't get their names in the stat sheet, but the offensive line has to get all the credit for that touchdown run. Tremendous job of blocking, paving the way for the 6 points.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Now the Redskins offense, they get set to go back to work here. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're...
And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked up by Trumaine Johnson. And his guys will take over at the 25-yard line. So that is 3 interceptions now in this first half. And you hate to ask the question, but let's be honest. We're thinking about it. Do you need to go in a different direction next series?
Potentially. We know that he's probably not going to be on the Pro Bowl ballot. That's not really his stature here. But he has been their starting quarterback for this game. So they've got to weigh things about who's behind him. Do they think he can snap it back into gear? Maybe change up the play calling to help him out a little bit.
And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 6 yards on the pickup, and it'll be 3rd down.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. You'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
The Bucs on 3rd down. They've been near perfect, 4 for 5 to this point. Here it's 3rd and 2.
Ready, blue ready.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So instead of giving them another 3rd down, they'll decline it, brings up 4.
Now that's smart football right there. You don't even have to really spend a lot of time considering it. Just know that you're probably going to get the ball back. Good job declining that penalty.
And his kick is good. And that stretches this lead even further. It's now 24-0. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you've got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him a 1st down. They'll run it now out of the gun. Just what you want on a 1st down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Throwing right, and that's complete. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. His 2nd catch of this wild card game, and it goes for a 1st down. He'll drop to throw. On the crossing route, complete. That's Richardson. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. And the Buccaneers go ahead and take another timeout. That's their 2nd, so they'll have 1 remaining here in this 2nd quarter. We'll be right back. Redskins with their first trip to the red zone thus far. They have a 1st and 10 at the 18. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be out of bounds, taking it just shy of the 10 at the 11 or the 12. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
That play wasn't quite as big as the play that preceded it, but still, got to like the way they're moving the football, partner.
Absolutely. Pretty good room to run on that last play.
Yeah, they didn't get a 1st down, but still, you'll take runs like that each and every time, won't you?
Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. They'll get nothing out of that one, and it's going to lead to a third down. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. He'll look to throw. This will be caught just inside the 10. And down as he gets it to the 8. 1:57 to go in this first half. Back with more NFC playoff action after this. This is 1st and goal and a golden chance to get a score back here before halftime. Geis, they'll try to run it. And they'll lose yardage here. They go backwards to the 13-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
They'll try again on 2nd and goal after going backwards to the 12. They'll look to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. They're going to need to get up and set in a hurry.
For a rookie first-rounder, he's made a huge impact on this defense, but that tells me that they had a plan for him when they drafted him. Just turn him loose, do what you do best, go get the quarterback.
They're going to look to throw. And that is caught. Touchdown, Washington. Paul Richardson, 23 yards for the touchdown. And the Redskins are able to close the gap just a bit. The point after is good, and that'll make it 24-7. Set now to and off it goes. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. And Tampa Bay trots out there now. And they split the uprights last time for 3. They've got the lead. They're not going to play this conservative. They're not hoping for another field goal. They're hoping for a touchdown.
I'm with you on that one. I like where your head is. I like the way you're thinking because you're exactly right. Trying to sit on a lead and play that way, that doesn't work too well for most teams. Run your offense. Run what you do best. Exactly. Put it all the way down and try to increase your lead in a big way. And the best way to do it, touchdown.
And the Redskins do get to him. He goes down for a sack. And now we're going to get a timeout called by the Redskin defense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. Jameis to throw it. And he's going to go down at his own 5-yard line. It's a sack. The Redskins looking for another timeout, and they get it. The tick under a minute to go before half. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
No run call here. They'll look to throw instead. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage.
Rush comes and they block it. Oh, and this is going to wind up a safety. And, Charles, at some point, you can't keep worrying about big play. Can this be perfect? You just have to get the ball out of the end zone.
And in the offensive huddle, that was discussed when they called the play. Just get out of the end zone. But you know what's interesting? A lot of the times in the defensive huddle, they actually call a set and then say at the end of it, get a safety. So it's preached, it's coached, it's thought about.
A look at Washington as they come onto the field. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. He'll rifle this one deep right side. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
Well, partner, they're not content to run this one out as we head towards the half, trying to hit a big chunk play right there and add to their score.
Yeah, this is a confident group. At the very least, they're thinking field goal.
Yeah, and I don't blame them one bit. I don't think you sit on the ball going into the half when you have a chance to put some more points on the board.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. Forced out to his left. Now he'll let it go deep right side. And that one will fall incomplete. Clock here now just under 30 seconds to go in this first half.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything to warrant a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Officially, that'll be marked down as just a 28-yard punt. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. The Buccaneers in good field position here to start out 1st and 10.
Okay.
Here's Winston. He's going to loft one deep over the middle. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off near the 26. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. Likely time for one final snap as they start out 1st and 10. Back to throw here. Oh, the Buccaneer pressure too much. Down he goes. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to be taken down here as that will lead us to the end of the first half of play. Due to time constraints, we move you forward in today's broadcast to the beginning of the 3rd quarter. So we come upon halftime here in this NFC Wildcard matchup. So out now come the Redskins. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. And out across midfield down to the 45. Give him 30 yards there. Well, even after all those interceptions, he's not deterred, still confident to go deep at work there.
I think all the old rules about playing that position still apply. If things go wrong, you still act like you're the best player out on the field. You still carry that supreme arrogance with you and continue to fire the ball. I've seen guys have games like this, and this is where you find out if you're great or not. Can you overcome some interceptions and still lead your team to victory?
The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down. On the handoff, it's Geis. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. It'll be a loss of 1, and just like that, it's 3rd down. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. Oh, he almost intercepted it. They're just forcing it into too many tough spots. That was almost a 4th pick of the game. And now 4th down. Here's Tressway now as he's on to punt for Washington. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Here comes the Buccaneers offense. They get their first reps of the second half. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Hey, sub. Let's go.
Second down, Winston. Flushed out right. He finds his target. It's Evans. And he'll get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Third and short yardage, Winston. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. And no matter what the situation, the O-line just hates that because they feel like they didn't protect little brother back there, right?
Man, that's just so difficult for them because just think about every single play. When you decide to throw the football, you're dealing with some of the best athletes on the planet. You talk about guys, if they weren't playing football, they'd be starring in the NBA at power forward. It's really a difficult task.
A great return there of 22 yards. And it'll be Redskins football now with a 1st and 10. The fourth down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on first down. Now a play fake here on first down. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. He'll rifle this one deep right side. And both guys were there, but it falls incomplete.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man on man. And you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. Looking left side, and it's complete. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A very solid gain of 27. This quarterback now 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. They'll set up a throw. And this is caught. A spectacular one-handed grab there. And he is into the end zone for a Washington touchdown. Paul Richardson, his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Redskins are able to cut into that deficit. So the lead trimmed down to 8 as here comes the kickoff, and it's away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. And the Buccaneers getting ready to go as they take the field. Certainly want to avoid what they had to do last possession. That was punt the football because this game's starting to tighten up.
In a basketball sense, you'd think about taking a little bit of the air out of the ball, right? Maybe milk some clock, limit the possessions. In this case, they might want to do the same thing but control the game offensively. Put together some first downs, put together a drive, and keep it away from them.
the 50. 5 on the 50. 5 on the 50. Johnny. Hey, sub. Let's go. Wait, up.
Winston now to throw on first down. And Brate, the tight end's got it. And they work this well upfield across the 45. 23 yards on the play.
But when you hit him on the move like that, and he's able to get into open field with a full head of steam, oh, boy, it's going to be tough to get him down.
Yeah, there was a big window. They're lucky they did get him down.
Ready. Black, 22's hot. Easy. Hey. Hey, sub. Let's go. Where do we go?
A first down throw for Winston. Stepping up, he's going to keep it. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
Well, it looked like a quick hitter, a 3-step drop, but when it's not there, what do? He elects to try and escape through the massive bodies up the middle, and he does so and picks up positive yardage.
Ready. Blue waiting.
And they'll run it here. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
We all have habits. We can be somewhat predictable, and you know me pretty well on 2nd down and short. What I like to say?
Play action.
Yeah, without a doubt. I thought that was a great spot to call it. Instead, didn't go their way, did it?
No, defense sold out for the run. Worked out well. The Bucs on 3rd down. They're at 50%, 4 for 8. This time they face a 3rd and 2.
Ready. Blue wait.
Working out of the gun, Winston. That's incomplete, but there is a flag down, so hang on. A big call coming on 3rd down. This home crowd, they're happy with that call.
I like the way you said happy there, right? The so-called good guys didn't get a call. They feel like it's been that way all afternoon. You feeling their pain?
They finally got one.
Yes, they did.
And they'll keep on the ground with Jones. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Deron Payne, the big D tackle there to make the stop.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man.
Ready. 125. Legs up.
And they'll go with a ground attack here. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. After the run by Jones, here's 1st and 10.
Ready. Blue ready.
And they'll go on the ground. And he stopped immediately there. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
Ready. Blue ready. Legs up.
And on the ground they go with a running back. And that one blown up quickly, as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 11. Back now in Tampa. It's the Bucs. They've got the football. They also are in front here on the scoreboard as we start the 4th. The Bucs on 3rd down. They're at 50%, 4 for 8. This is 3rd and 11. Now they'll run on the draw. And he's going to be taken down right at the line. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave him with a 4th down. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This to make it a 2-score game. And his kick is indeed good, and that will bump the lead up to 11. So his second field goal of the game, and that could turn.
Yeah, you have to make them score twice to beat you, and that's not impossible. But here in the 4th quarter, puts their backs clearly against the wall.
Fielded about a yard deep. A big seam, and he might go all the way. 20, 10.
All right, let's give credit where credit is due. How about that return? Great blocking, great vision, all the way down to the 2-yard line. The only person who has to be upset, the guy who didn't get it into the end zone. That far and no reward?
So here are the Redskins now, an important 2-point conversion. Now a toss going left. And he will get into the end zone as a 2-point conversion is successful. And the lead is down to a field goal here in the 4th. So just a 3-point game now as they send this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. Uses the spin. And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or 2 shy of the 30. And Tampa Bay trots out there now. That last touchdown has made this really tight. They're clinging now to this slim lead. Second half, they only have a field goal. This offense needs to kick it into gear.
And right now, I'm looking directly at the field general, at the quarterback. Because to me, he's got to take over right now. By word, pumping his team up, and then, of course, by deed with his play. My school coach used to say that all the time. Laddie, take over by word and deed.
And deed means action.
Exactly.
And a catch right side by Evans. A good pickup there, 26 yards. Well, we haven't been shortchanged on offense. Another fun play to watch there on the deep pass.
This game has the feel of, a turkey bowl, a Thanksgiving day. You know, when we get together this year, when the Davises and the Gardens get together, that's what our playbook's going to look like they're drawing them up in the dirt, and so far it's working for both of them.
Here's a give to Jones running left. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
Now a 2nd down throw for Winston. He completes it to Evans. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
The Bucs on 3rd down, not quite 50%, 4 for 9. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1.
Hey, sub. Let's go.
And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And he's going to be stopped up right at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain that time, and they're going to be left looking up at a 4th and 1. Here's Brian Anger now. Remember, though, he did have one blocked earlier. And now before they run this play on 4th and 1, we're going to get a break and a timeout. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. From the right hash, this from 53. And no, it doesn't get there. hits the crossbar, bounces back out. He had it online, but it comes up about a rotation short. So points so crucial in a tight game like this, but this kick off the goalpost, and that'll keep the score right where it is.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made this a two-score game, but any cushion this late definitely would have helped. Now they need to ask their defense for another stop, and that's going to require some work.
And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. They go play action here on first down. And a big loss here as he's taken down.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Now this one from about 2 counties over after the sack. They come up on a second and very long. On play action, they'll throw. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. A big gain there after going backwards, and that'll lead to a third down. This is 3rd and 2. Maybe the biggest play in this football game. Looking to throw. Oh, he almost intercepted it. They're just forcing it into too many tough spots. That was almost a 4th pick of the game. And now 4th down. One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. And now before this 4th and 2 play comes to fruition, they're going to think about it and call a timeout. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. And quite a bit of pizza in this box. It's a 53-yard attempt. And this one is right down Broadway. And in the 4th quarter, this game is tied. I tell you, the life of a kicker. He has not been called on the entire game. He's over there by the net, but they send him out here in the 4th quarter and say, hey, go tie the game, will you? And guess what? He comes through.
I just don't know how they do it. I really don't. These cats are a different breed from you and me. That's a pressure kick, but that one was never in doubt.
Now the Buccaneers offense gets ready to head back onto the field. Winston and the Bucs take over now, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Winston now steps away to his left. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment, but here, he's one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
Line of scrimmage, again the 25, 2nd and 10. On 2nd down, Winston again. Over the middle, he finds Godwin, complete. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down. Here we go, 3rd and 1. Gut check time on both sides.
Sunday! By 52. Sonny! Tighten up.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going. Time for a break. We'll come back and see how it all shakes out after this. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, Winston rolling to his right. And his throw here's incomplete. That would have been a tough catch, but in this 2-minute drill, those are the ones you really hope your guys come up with.
Yeah, you don't want your guy to be able to take the out because it was a tough catch. You needed him to come up with that one because if he does, it alters the perspective of this 2-minute drill, doesn't it?
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Here's Winston. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. So back-to-back incompletions, now 3rd and 10. And first things first, before you think about marching the ball down the field, you got to move the chains.
You're exactly right. Got to get back into focus here. Get the first down. That's what's vital to them.
Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. Flush to his right. Now he'll let it go deep left sideline. And this will be caught at the 30. And they'll get this to the 30-yard line before crossing over out of bounds. And chalk that one up as a gain of 34 on 3rd down. So the big play has them all the way down to the 30 now for 1st and 10.
Ready? You ready? Where's that? Check. Let's go. Return the play.
Running right, Jones. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11.
Alert! Hey, sub. Let's go. Hey, sub. Let's go. Green, Triple C. Squares that up. Let's go.
They'll go again to Jones. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. And play is stopped here. Timeout. It's the defense calling the timeout here. as they'll get it with just over 90 seconds to go in the ball game. Ninth play of the drive coming up, and certainly not an easy one on 3rd and long. And they'll run it here. And he'll fall forward to the 29-yard line. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it'll be 4th down. Have to kick this field goal, don't you?
No question about it. Look at the clock. Look at the situation. Kick the field goal.
So here we go. Maybe the biggest kick of the game forthcoming. This for the lead in the final stages. And his kick is good. And the sideline celebrates as they have taken the lead in the final minute. All right, so time to reset here. It's a huge kick there, gives them the lead, but they've got to be careful that their celebrations aren't a little too premature.
You're exactly right about that, because there still is time for the other guys to run a few plays and get into field goal position. So this defense is going to need to come up with one final stop if they're going to get out of here with a victory.
And a nice return sets them up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. They only need a field goal. Obviously, the clock a huge factor. They'll be watching that. What do they need to do here, Charles?
Your sequence of plays has to get you out of bounds. Completions, get out of bounds, gain some yardage. Then when the clock hits 7 seconds or left, now you get a decision. Are you in field goal range, or is it Hail Mary time? Because from 7 seconds down, you don't want to take a shot that you're going to have another play.
We'll see how they handle it. 23 yards on the play. Back to throw. A quick throw, but incomplete.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down.
Eagle. Alpha. Eagle.
Back to throw. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. 15 yards through the air on a 1st down.
Partner, you got to like what they're doing right there. Little by little, they're getting closer. Another good pickup.
So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. So now with 6 seconds remaining, we get a timeout on the field. So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. This to potentially send us to overtime. And this one is right through. And they will tie this game here in the final seconds. So a money kick there in the final seconds, and now, barring any hijinks on the kickoff here, partner, I think you and I, we're going to settle in for a little overtime.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. This has been a dogfight all through regulation. No reason to think it won't continue in the extra period.
And Tampa Bay trots out there now. Tie game, and barring something incredible here, we're likely headed to overtime.
And just a couple of scenarios here to keep in mind. One, if you want to be really aggressive, you do throw the Hail Mary and see if you can get something downfield.
What would you do?
What I would do is either hand it off inside or more likely take a knee and let the clock run out. Because if I'm back there trying to throw and a sack happens, the ball comes free, I can lose the game here. If I get to overtime, I can still win it.
Let's see if they are in line with Charles Davis. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. And an overtime playoff game, but the rules, they stay the same as they did in the regular season.
That's exactly right. Whoever scores first, unless it's a touchdown, the other team has a chance to match. That's how it really gets played out. But remember this, no matter how far we go in overtime, in the regular season, there was only one period. Here, we're going to go until we have a winner.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And here come the Redskins now. Set for their first drive here in overtime. And this is where the crowd can really become a factor.
They've had to battle it all day, but I know what you're saying. In overtime, that gets doubled, doesn't it? At least, because now the crowd really wants to be involved and help their team. And that first drive can dictate the whole thing because they know if this team takes it downfield and scores a touchdown, it's game over.
It's been loud in here so far. They start on the ground with Geis. And he'll wind up with about 6, up past the 30 to the 31. He wasn't able to really get anything going in regulation. Maybe it'll be a little different story here in overtime.
And it appears that with that call, they want to establish the run in overtime, try and set the tone for what they're going to get done. And you're right, maybe it didn't work so well in regulation. Overtime could be the charm. And by the way, the yards count either way.
They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Now a first throw here in overtime. Eluding the pressure right. Room here to run. Opted to run for it. The decision a good one. Picking up the first, getting 14 yards on the scramble.
Looks to me, partner, like he's learned a little bit because earlier in the game, I think he was trying to force a lot of throws into some windows that just weren't open.
Yeah, the interceptions had plagued him, especially a second interception, really a bad throw. So maybe a better decision there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think he learned from earlier in the game, and he's applying it now.
They'll hand it down to Geis. And no room that time, getting it to about the 46. Noah Spence in on the stop.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And he's unable to grab it. Thought he might have had position, couldn't hold on, 3rd down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Now back to throw. And he comes back with one complete. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. He's been big. 2 touchdowns earlier. Now he's got a first down here. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Back to the ground game now with Geis. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. And the tackle there by Quan Alexander.
Well, he was looking for some running room, and there wasn't a whole lot of it there on that play. I think he was lucky to get a couple of yards out of it because those defenders, they were rallying to the football pretty quickly.
He didn't seem in a rush. I guess they just didn't know where the play clock was.
I think you're right about that because there was no hurried movements there, right? No up-tempo at all. The clock just ran out. I think he was as surprised as maybe his bench was.
Quick! On! Line! 300! Alpha! Line! 300!
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Escape. And he will go down outside of the pocket for a sack. Tried to get away, but could not.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Probably thinking they got to be careful not to force anything here in overtime. This is 3rd and a mile right now. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Under pressure again, and down he goes again. Quan Alexander in there to get him his 2nd sack now of the afternoon. Here's Tressway now. On for a very important punt here in overtime. Oh, and what a play on special teams here. This is going to be down inside the 5, all the way down at the 2-yard line. And Tampa Bay trots out there now. Their defense did its job, got the stop. All they need is 3, and this is over.
Couldn't have done much else other than score themselves and end it. But they turned it back over to them, and now all they need is a field goal to win the game. An excellent job by the defense. Can the offense finish things off?
Part 1 is done, now part 2. And not much there as he gets it up to about the 5-yard line. A gain of 3, 2nd down.
And while they hope to continue this drive, it's really already mission accomplished. They've given enough space now that they have to punt the ball. They've done so with that first run.
What can Winston do in the OT now? It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And they'll mark him down right around the 9, just shy of the 10. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
Let's go. Sonic.
Now Winston. And this is going to be incomplete. Charles, any chance they go for it here?
I think that there's a chance. They have to consider it because of the way they've played offense in this game. I mean, look at the scoreboard. Look at the points that they've put up. They feel confident that they can keep it going. But the risk is, and the downside is, you don't get it here, you've set up your opponent in really good field position.
This is taken at about the 14. He'll be hard-pressed to match that one. That a 65-yard punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. Out comes the Redskin offense now as they get set to begin another possession.
They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, do you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the football 101, the trite expression 101. Win first down. Make 5, 6, 7 yards on first down and make it a 2nd and 3, 2nd and manageable. Keep accumulating first downs that way. Keep moving the football. Don't want to get behind the sticks because then the defense has the advantage.
It's a gain of 7, and it'll be a 2nd down. This being their 2nd opportunity in overtime, 3rd overall drive. See if they can settle into a rhythm.
And that's what you're looking for. Get a few first downs, move the ball downfield, have some confidence, get yourself in a spot where you can at least kick a field goal to win it. But I tell you this, if I'm the play caller, I'm looking at that part of my sheet that says playmakers. Get the ball in their hands. Critical situation. Now's their time.
And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. He'll drop to throw. Dumps it off for Geist. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. It'll be a gain of 16 and give him a first down as well.
We always talk about having to read defenses and how complicated that is. Well, this was an excellent read. Read the pressure and got rid of the football before it even got to him for a nice game.
And when they're blitzing like that, running back usually a good spot to go with the football?
Without a doubt, because he's right in your sight line or he's near you.
Got a man, it's caught at the 6-yard line. And he gets this down deep into Tampa Bay territory. Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Geist. And he gets him a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4.
Brandon, I go ahead and kick it right now. I know it's only 2nd down, but I kick it and give myself a little margin for error here.
Don't wait for 3rd. Have the extra down just in case.
If something goes wrong, messed up snap, anything like that, you fall on it, guess what? It's 3rd down. You still have the ball. You still have a chance to kick it.
So now this one's going to rest on the foot of their 2nd-year kicker. This to advance to the divisional round. And the kick is good. He got it. And it's official now. They're going to the playoffs.